Hello everyone and welcome to my next video here on the Mighty Rich Fool. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest fake AirPods from China. So stick around. Hello again. So today we're going to be looking at the fake AirPods from China. These are the Gen 3 models. These are the latest ones to come out from China. So we will be looking at these and comparing them against the Gen 2s later on in the video. So obviously if we have a look at the box comparison from Gen 2, we can still see that there is pretty much the same details as before. But you can see that obviously from the design, everything looks the same, but obviously here it's a little bit darker here and lighter on the Gen 2s. So that's all the noticeable difference I can really see from the box. I mean, all the serial numbers are still the same and the foil is still the same on Gen 2 than it is on Gen 3. So let's go ahead and open these up for you guys. So these are the latest ones to come out from China. So, okay, so let's just put this to the side. So again, we still have our ordinary manuals. If we compare the manuals from the previous generation, I guess it's almost, in fact, almost the same. Yeah, they are pretty much the same as the Gen 2s. So it was designed in California here, and then we also have the actual pod itself. Let's put that there. Okay, so we have the cable, charging cable, which is which is actually USB-C to Lightning, which is the same as previous gen of the fake ones. And then the pods are falling out. So that's the first noticeable difference I can see, is that the actual pods themselves, the actual grommets, the actual rubber parts themselves are in fact different from the Gen 3. So if we have a look at the Gen 2, sorry. So these are the Gen 2s. So you can already noticeably see the difference in the rubber seal. So the rubber seal itself, if you can see, compared to Gen 2 and Gen 3, you can see that they're actually a little bit more rectangle. Okay, so let's get rid of those. So that's the first change that we've seen, as well is the fact they've changed the tips. We've got a little bit of elastic coming off here. I can also see that the tips here are also a little bigger on the other side than the other one. So anyway, so let's pop them aside. Let's actually have a look at the AirPods themselves. Let's bring that back out again. So let's have a little peel. Now I notice the sticky stuff is on the outside this time, because before it was on the inside. So we still have our fantastic plastic. Fantastic plastic, I like that. Okay, so this is Gen 3 and this is Gen 2. So upon looking at closer, let's zoom in just a little bit here. So the first notable differences I can see from the case is obviously the hinge is a bit bigger on the Gen 3 than it is on the Gen 2 model. Obviously everything still seems the same size. Front is still the same. We still have our clicky button. The clicky button does feel a little bit more, yeah, I mean the quality is definitely a little bit different there. On this one you can see that it's not so smooth than it is on the Gen 2. So obviously for case design, Gen 2 gets it. So let's have a look inside. Okay. Now, upon first noticing, we actually have a completely different design to the Gen 2s here already. So if you can see from the Gen 2, we have just a printed on sensor, you can see there, and here we have, I'm assuming this is a sticker of some sort. So yeah, so the first thing straight away is that detailing right there is much more detailed, more realistic than Gen 2. So again, having a look at the pod themselves, let's take one out. Okay, so we can see here that obviously the pod has its bigger entry hole. We have more design here. Obviously this bit is still printed. This bit here is also I believe, yeah, is a sticker as well. Yeah, it's got like a little groove inside. Now the moment you've all been waiting for, let's have a look underneath the pod. You can see already that underneath the pod there is more more area than on the Gen 2s. So let's have a look here if we can lift this one up. From here you can see obviously the difference already. So let's go and completely remove that. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so here we go. We have Gen 2 and Gen 3. So first noticeable difference is it's black. It's black. So that means that these are actually closest to the latest AirPods that are out. Obviously with the Gen 2 mold, you can see that it still has the rounder circle and the plastic nip. And this is actually can be very frustrating, and sometimes the pod falls off. So on the Gen 3, you can see that these ones have definitely got a much more realistic look to them compared to obviously your Gen 2s. Now your Gen 2s, obviously when they're in your ear, you know, it looks the part, but now with these added stickers on, wow, it does look completely the part. My only concern with the Gen 3s is as this is a sticker, I'm assuming that this could easily come off, but it doesn't. It does certainly look a lot different than the original Gen 2s. Cool. Okay, so just remove this one too. So in terms of the hinge, I've also noticed here the hinge is ever so slightly bigger here. This is definitely looking a lot more like the original AirPod case. In terms of weight, they feel the same. I would have to weigh them out. Obviously we have a much brighter light on the Gen 3. I've also noticed that the light fades. Okay, so the light fades in and fades out on the Gen 3. On the Gen 2 it just turns on and it's not so bright and it kind of just shuts off. This one's got a fading in and fading out, so that's definitely upgrade. In terms of magnetism, yeah, there is definitely a stronger magnet on the Gen 3. Yeah, so that's good. You're not going to have that popping open anytime soon. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. Let's go and see how easy it is to put back on these pods. This also seems to be like a little mesh just inside the AirPod grommet too, so that's definitely an improvement. So let's see how these go back on, shall we? Okay, that was easy. Right, okay, so that's actually on there. Right, so wow, just 2 little clips, but hard to pull off. That's very impressive. That's very, very good indeed. I mean, that takes some pulling. I mean, yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at that, that's pretty impressive. There's two tiny little clicks and you're on. Hard to pull off. Good job there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's a kind of a closer look at the latest fake AirPods from China. Obviously, the most noticeable upgrade in a recap is the stickers. As you can see, it kind of gives it more of a realistic look. Also, the black tip and the bigger earpieces, the brighter light and the fading in of the light. Let's put them back inside. Okay, so we still have, all right. Yeah, that is a noticeable difference. So that is the latest AirPods from China. These are the Gen 3s. And let's just open them up. Okay, so we have the pop-up come up on the phone. So let's connect and let's hold the button on the back like it says to do. So it's connecting. We've got a pulsing light here. Okay, we got the media controls. So let's go into the AirPods here. Okay, so we have all the settings. We can rename the device. We've got noise cancellation mode, transparency mode, and all the good stuff there. I'm not sure that works though, but I'll test now and I'll let you know. So another thing I noticed as well, that when I'm doing the ear fit test, even with them out of my ears, it says a good seal. So that's definitely buggy there in that terms. So the ear fit test is definitely faulty. Also, when I'm going to noise cancellation mode, I get a beep. When I go to off, I get a cheep. And when I go to transparency mode, I get a burp. So it's beep, burp, burp. So they're just playing sounds. They're not actually doing any noise cancellation, and they're not doing any transparency. Okay, now I'm going to do a quick test on first the seal around the ear, and then I'm going to do a sound test. So first of all, we're going to put in the Gen 2s, and I've got quite a great seal already. I mean, my voice is quite definitely, there's a good seal on my ears with the Gen 2s. Now let's try the Gen 3s, the latest ones from China. So the moment I put the earpods in, the music started playing. So that's instant playback, which is good. So let's go back to the seal. The seal is not as good as the seal on these pods. Okay, I can still hear a little bit of background noise. There is definitely a difference. So Gen 2 has definitely got the better seal in your ear canal, as with the ones I'm wearing right now. So now let's go and do a sound test with, first of all, Gen 3. So let's go. Okay, we've got some good bass coming from the Gen 3s, definitely. So let's go in and place the Gen 2s for comparison. Cool. You know what? The sound does sound a little bit better in the Gen 2s than it does in the Gen 3s. Let me try that again. Okay, so my conclusion is that the Gen 3s definitely have more bass and not so much treble. And the Gen 2s have a little bass, but great treble. So my final review, actually, from the Gen 3s, I'm very impressed with the sound quality. There is not much ceiling on the ear with no sound playing, so you can still hear people. There's no complete dead silence like there is on the Gen 2. But in terms of sound, much more bass. Also, they're more touch functionality. They play and pause when they go in your ear. And there's also the fading of the light on the front of the box, which is a nice touch, and also the bigger hinge. So in my comparison, I definitely would recommend the Gen 3s. The Gen 3 definitely has a great sound quality. My next test is I wanted to make sure that the Gen 3 supports wireless charging. So let's go ahead and put it on the wireless charger. And there you go. Wireless charging, it's supported. So another thing I want to test is, does they support fast charging? So with Gen 2, turns off my light though. No, it doesn't. And with the Gen 3, does it support fast charging? Aha. Right, okay, so that's pretty interesting. So we actually have fast charging compatibility. So obviously with the Gen 2s, it's not supported, it won't charge. But I'm now charging from micro USB to USB here. So definitely the Gen 3 has got a more modern chip. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Everything else looks pretty much the same as it did in the other AirPods, but there is definitely some upgrades in this one. So again, thanks again for watching. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.